Hi everybody, it's Leap Day. I am so excited. So I am going to be a beautiful woman from Sweden, Oona, who teaches yoga and leads retreats. And first, I just want to let you know what we're doing today. So we just finished a 28-day leap challenge. For those of you who participated, it was so great to leap with you. For 4 years since the start of the pandemic, I've been leading free 28-day flow challenges where we do something joyful every day, a simple 5-minute activity that gets us into flow that we love to do. And that has evolved to a leap challenge that we did this month because one of the things that happened that I did in one of these flow challenges is I wrote a book. I found myself writing poetry so little moments of flow can grow into bigger moments. And I found myself writing poetry and created this book, and it's called Leap With Me. And I ended up in about a week, I wrote more than 80 poems, all about my creative process. And that is the heart of this book. And I divided those poems into groups, and I realized that they fell very naturally and evenly into 7 areas that I'm calling the 7 touchstones of creativity. And there are 7 questions that go with each of them. And today we're going to be walking through those 7 touchstones of creativity and having some really fun conversations. So I'm going to just invite now Oona to join us and see if she's ready. And we're going to talk about touchstone number 1. And the question that goes with touchstone number 1 is, what inspires you? So I am going to just check in on Oona and see if she's there. And yay, so Oona's joined. And I'm going to add her. You'll have to bear with me because I am new to all of this. This is a leap for me. So, so welcome, Oona and Suze. Hi. So touchstone number 1 is all about what inspires us, and that's the foundation of the flow challenges. And it's doing something every day that inspires us. So Oona, are you with me? I see that you're here, and but I don't see you. But we would love to talk to you because I know we have so much to talk about as far as what keeps you inspired in Sweden during the cold winters. And I'm just gonna see if I can invite Oona another way. So bear with me. And okay. All right. Well, Una has requested to join, so I'm going to see if I can get her to join us again. And hopefully this will work. Yay! Una!
Hi, Lori.
Hi. Well, you are my very first. And so thank you for joining me. And I am still drinking my coffee because it's very early here in California. You look
I know.
beautiful.
Hi.
So yeah, so as you know, I'm so excited about Leap Day. And I just got off of a Zoom call and we had somebody already from Zambia on
Oh
the
my
call. And
gosh.
yeah, and
So
Suze from
amazing.
Mississippi was on the call, and we had a glorious meditation. And as you know, I love to lead longer meditations. This one was just 5 minutes, but it was incredible. It's just such a good reminder that we can drop into that space that we connect with when we're in flow through meditation so quickly. So,
Exactly. Oh, well, it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
of course. So I was just talking about the touchstones of creativity and how I wrote my book and the poems that I wrote about my own creative process fell naturally into 7 areas. And the first is this touchstone of getting inspired. And that's sort of the foundation of what the flow challenges are all about. Just choosing a little 5-minute activity that gets us inspired and brings us joy that we do every day. And I know you have joined me for so many of those flow challenges. So
Again and again.
yeah, so tell us what gets you inspired and how do you stay inspired? Because we all have our
Oh,
ups and downs.
wow. That's, I should have asked you what we were going to talk about now. What gets me inspired? Well, a couple things. Getting outside, nature inspires me. Clearing my mind definitely is inspiration. I hate to say it, but being a California girl, I'm so affected by weather. So I mean, as soon as the sun peers out, I live in Sweden, so many months out of the year it can be a little gray. But just the minute the sun pops out of the sky, I literally want to run outside. So I get inspired not only to be outside, but also to maybe do something that's more joyful. I feel like when the weather is gray, you kind of want to work, 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 and then the minute that the sun pops out, I remind myself to enjoy more and do what I like to do. But yeah, I am a yoga instructor, so obviously I like movement inspires me. But I also wake up after a good night's sleep and put my feet on the ground and just sort of connect with the day and usually start by just saying thank you. I have a moment of gratitude. And usually I look out the window and I mean, I can show you what's out there now, but I don't know if you can see, but it's a lake that's covered with ice
Gorgeous.
and sometimes snow. Can you see? I can't really see what you're seeing.
Yep, I can see
Yeah,
perfectly. Yeah.
yeah.
And I
But so just waking up and looking outside, that's the first thing I do. So look out at the day. And yeah, usually I just feel inspired by the day and yeah, and I'm usually waking up with my little, I have a little white dog, I know you do as
yes,
well, a little fluffy dog
our dogs
and
could be twins. We've seen them on video and
yeah,
they're almost identical.
exactly. And then I have a 12-year-old, well, almost 12-year-old who often sneaks into my bed in the morning and yeah, but yeah, that's just my
Well,
morning inspiration, yeah.
well, you have inspired me, and I'm sure you inspired so many people when the first flow challenge you did these amazing videos of you on the ice. That lake that you just showed us was covered with ice. And you'd get out there with I think you did a yoga mat. I remember, I think you had gloves on and you'd set up on the dock the video. It was so inspiring. Just
Fun.
glorious.
That's funny. But you know, I did that for you, Lori. I usually don't do yoga on the ice. But you're encouraging us all to send a photo. And literally I was doing something so simple, even though I am a yoga teacher. I don't actually practice enough and I love the sun salutation so much. I tell everyone, oh, make that your homework, do it every day. But I actually wasn't practicing what I preached. And I think for that challenge, all I did was sun salutations, which are so basic, but I thought it wasn't so exciting to video myself doing that. So I actually did it on the lake, and that's what you're referring to. And I had a lot of fun. And it was at a point where I wasn't sure if I was going to go through the ice or not. But where I was doing was very shallow, so it looked scarier than it was. But I
And
think
then another
don't
one,
try
I
this at home.
believe you did cold plunges, didn't you? You had some
Yeah,
videos
and
of
then
second flow
the next
challenge.
challenge, something living on the lake. I thought, you know, I see all these people often in Malibu or these warm places, and they're in their bikini laying out in the sun, and then they jump in a cold, yeah, bathtub full of ice. And I'm thinking, well, I've got a bathtub, a lake full of ice. You know, I should be able to do this. But the missing part is getting warm, I think, in the sun before. And I don't think I did 30 days, but I did a good 20 something and I did not love it really ever. But I did it and it was fun and it was, yeah, I mean, mean, definitely an adrenaline kick. And I mean, you can read a lot of positive things about it, but you can also read a lot of negative things. And I always wanted, one of my kids with me or my husband to kind of make sure that
We'll see.
your
Yeah.
heart doesn't stop or something.
Right.
So,
So of those
yeah.
two flow activities that you chose, which was your favorite?
Oh, well, I mean, those were fun. I didn't actually consider them flow. They were more just a challenge, right? And
Yeah.
now we're doing a flow challenge.
Yeah,
And that one is,
this was a leap
oh,
challenge. The one that we just
yeah, yeah,
was
okay,
a
okay, yeah,
leap
yes.
day.
I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed, I mean, maybe it was more of a challenge, obviously, jumping in the lake
Yeah,
because
that was probably
the others
more
are pretty
equivalent
easy.
to a leap challenge, right?
Yeah,
That one actually, you were leaping
yeah,
or
I
gently
really felt
leaping
it.
into the lake, which is, yeah. So I always think of when I define a leap, some people define it as like these big, acts that we see that the rest of the world can see. But I define them as anything that stretches us out of our comfort zone
Mm.
that is aligned with who we really are or what our inner voice is calling us to do. So it's very much about hearing that inner voice, and sometimes just a conversation that we have with ourselves about a change we're ready to make, or that can take so much courage, even just admitting certain things to ourselves. So a leap can be very inward as well as outward. And I feel like the connection between flow and leap, flow is that state we get in when we're doing things that we love, like writing or yoga. I know you experienced that with yoga and meditating. What it can be any activity under the sun when we really focus on what we're doing, and it particularly tends to happen when we really love the activity, whether it's doodling or writing. For me, it's writing, but that's why we choose, activities that bring us joy for the flow challenge. But I always say, there's no rules, right? Like we just create, choose an activity that we love or that we're feeling called to do. So, and somehow I feel like just the act of doing something small moves our life to a different place, particularly when we choose the acts that mindfully, when we're really tuning in and listening to our intuition. Even just this day, like planning these conversations and this leap day was just sort of an inner nudge and definitely stretched me out of my comfort zone, but when we follow them, it's just like the universe seems to respond and people just show up, like our friend from Zambia today on the Zoom call, and you just saying, yes, I want to talk about inspiration. And so I just love the synchronicities and the connections that happen as a result of our
And just
synchronicities.
being accountable and showing up for, I mean, each other. And sometimes it's also easy to commit to somebody else than yourself. So with the leap, actually, I've been writing every day, not necessarily journaling, even though I can show you. And you often want photos, and I didn't want to send you photos, but I mean, this is, I could, I've been writing and writing, and the other thing that I wanted to do was finish a children's book that, again, I didn't want to take a photo of it, but I actually finished
Oh,
it. It's
yay! Una,
called
I'm so
Have You
happy
Ever
for
Hugged a
you.
Tree? And it was just something that I did in a flow state. It was during the middle of a yoga retreat. So I hold yoga retreats, as you know,
Yes.
here at my home. And I was in this sort of high state, and we had a moment that we just had, I think, a moment in between activities to do what you wanted. And I thought, what do I want to do with this moment? And I literally sat down and wrote the whole book. I mean, it's a children's book. It's a very simple. I mean, it's a very, very short, probably, story. But I wrote the whole thing in one flow go. And then it's just been sitting in a notebook for a couple of years, and I haven't done anything with it. But then I got inspired by you saying, yeah, do a leap, do a flow. And so I at least typed it up. But it was funny because I didn't do it until, I want to say, the day before yesterday, knowing that we were going to meet, because I've been journaling and I've been saying, oh, I'm going to write, and that's silly, I shouldn't finish this. But really, the writing was, the precursor to sitting down and finishing that. So thanks to you and this
Good.
challenge, I at least finished it, or at least put it put it in writing that others can read.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Well, you've been talking about that book, I know, for a while. And just someone just asked, what are we talking about? So just as a quick review, we
Yeah.
just finished this 28-day leap challenge. And the idea was to do a little leap every day towards a big leap that you want to, that you're working towards in your life. And, you know, we could use the challenge anyway. We felt intuitively led to use it. And it ended yesterday, and today is leap day, the extra day that we get because of leap year, the 29th. And Una, you were just sharing that you worked, you know, one of your leaps that you wanted to do was this book, and you've completed the first draft of your children's book that you've been wanting to create for a really long time.
Yeah.
So, and I love that you did it in one sitting, and I love that you did it in a flow state, because that is just beautiful. Sometimes we just set the intention, you know, and then it happens maybe not exactly the way we would plan, where we write a little bit every day in one big, you know, flow session. So that's so great. I'm so happy for you, and I'm so grateful to you. I just love how the synchronicities brought us together.
I know.
Yeah.
So fun. And it's so funny because, yeah, when I first met you, something I can admit something that I mean, we all do, but lately I've been reminding myself not to judge myself or others. Of course, the life lesson that we all can remind ourselves. But when I first met you online or joined a meditation, it was so funny because I'm such a West Coast. I'm from California originally, even though I've lived in Sweden for almost 30 years. But I'm still, you know, a Californian at heart.
Yeah.
And you have an East Coast background, right?
Yeah.
And
People
so
always say I have an accent, and it's so funny because I think it's a blend between the Pennsylvania Dutch, where I was born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and then moved to New Jersey. So it's this crazy blend of East Coast.
It's so funny because I was like, who is this East Coaster? And I didn't really know where you were living, and of all the places in the world, you're actually living in Marin County, which is where my father lives and where I've grown up as well. Anyway, it was so funny, and then for us to actually meet in person shortly after, and I fell in love with the meditations, and I love following you online. But it was so fun that we actually met in person shortly after, and of all places in the world, that you were very close to where I go regularly when I'm in California.
Yes. That was wonderful to meet you and to walk together. And I always love to see when you show up on the Zooms for meditation. So, yeah. So, speaking of which, my next meditation on Zoom is at 7 o'clock my time. So, that's in 13 minutes.
Okay.
So, we'll end our conversation because I want to be there for whoever is available to show up. And so if anyone's listening who wants to join and you're not on my email list, if you just sign up through the link on my bio, there's some free offers in a form right on my website. And one of those has to do with today, our LEAP celebration. And as soon as you sign up, you'll get an email with the link, the Zoom link, and the schedule of all the meditations. So you'll be able to access it. It's the same Zoom link all day. And I'm going to be on at the top of every hour for just 15 minutes just to say hi and meet people and lead a 5-minute meditation. And then I'll be back here at the bottom of the hour. And next I'm going to be talking with Malika from Pennsylvania. And she is a writer also, and she's working on her first novel. And she's also a mom of little kids, which Oona, you and I know how challenging that can be to juggle creativity and all the things that life brings with being a mom of little ones. So she's going to talk about her own creative process and how she taps that creative chord while she's juggling life. So anyway, well, thank you, Oona. I loved seeing you, and hopefully I'll see you on Zoom at some point today, and we can meditate together.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was so fun to catch up with you, and thank you for your inspiration and getting me in flow.
It's my pleasure. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.